Isaiah 49:11, it says, I will turn all my mountains into roads and my highways. God says my highways. Wait a minute, God's saying my highways, they will be raised up. And just out of my spirit, I begin to pray, God, raise up the highways, raise up the highways, raise up the highway. And it was a prayer on the inside of me. I don't even know what it means. Lord, raise up the highway. And so I had that as a prayer on the inside of me all day and into the night. And then the next morning I wake up and it's still, I'm feeling that, the highways, raise up the highway. And he says, I will turn all my mountains into roads and my highways will be raised up. And today I've been excited. I kept feeling that word highways. And then this song came to me. It's old classic, gospel song. And especially used for effect is it in a version where it's a choir singing that song. It's a highway, walking up the King's highway. And here in this verse, God says, I'm going to raise up my highway. There's a scripture that speaks of the highway of holiness. I begin to look and see and find these highway scriptures, the highway of the remnant, the highway that leads to the fuller's field. The fuller's field and the highway thereof was a place of gathering. It was a public place where people would come together, and oftentimes it was a place where prophetic utterances would be released. Even the famous prophecy of Emmanuel, who was to come, was right there on the highway at fuller's field. So the Lord is speaking about this highway where the Lord can come. Isaiah prophesies about a voice that would make straight the highway, would make straight the way. And we also know that Bartimaeus, he got his miracle. He was blind, but he heard that the Lord was coming. Where was the Lord coming? He was coming along that highway because Bartimaeus was lifting up his voice on the highway. The highway is the place where you can meet the Lord. And so Bartimaeus got to the highway, and the Lord was coming along the highway, and Bartimaeus lifting his voice to encounter the Lord. As he's praying, calling out to the Lord came to him on the highway. Reminds me of that old song. What is that? Jesus on the main line. Well, the main line is the highway. It's the way that the Lord is coming through. And the old timers knew about a way to get through to God. They knew that they could call out to God and God would hear. And when God hears, God moves. And so they would begin to feel the Spirit move, and they'd sing this song, Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. And Bartimaeus was right there on the roadside. He heard a stirring. He felt the excitement of the crowd. And he said, what is it? And they said, Jesus is coming by. And so Bartimaeus realized he's at the right place at the right time. Where is he at? He's at the highway. Where's the Lord coming? He's coming up the highway. He's coming along that road. And so Bartimaeus lifted up his voice. He prayed. He cried out. He called out to the Lord. And Jesus came to him and said, what do you want? Because Jesus was on the main line. And so the Lord is saying, I'm about to level the... excuse me for feeling it because it's on the inside of me. Hallelujah.